Hey everybody, it's Sharon, and I'm going to show you today how I took an old whiskey barrel and turned it into a pub table that we're going to use in our little outdoor screened-in porch area. Definitely in a barn for a while. I actually got it off the truck of somebody that was dropping it off at an antique store, so it didn't even get in the store. Had a lot of barn, things in it like you would expect. The staves were a little bit loose, the rings were loose, but everything was pretty much there. The only thing that was missing was a top. It still had the plug in it, which I thought was so cool. So not doing this before, I just kind of drew up a few plans and thought I would just kind of wing it like I usually do. So first thing, clean up. Oh, it needed a good cleanup, and she really cleaned up good. You can see the nice grain now, and once I cleaned out the inside, then you can actually see the char marks from when they burned it. I wanted to do something like I did in our Illinois home for the top. So I found a pedestal base and it had a top. So let's see what I did here. So I had this oak tabletop in the basement with a pedestal. And it's 3 feet, and I thought, well, let me try that because I'm looking for something to put on top. It'll give you probably about a foot, maybe 10 inches. If you're sitting here, at least you got your knees there. And this, I think, I can tell on the backside, it's not oak. I think there's just a veneer on here, which is fine because I'm going to sand it down, and then I'm going to paint it and put the compass print on it like I did for the wall hanging. I wasn't sure how I was going to attach the top to the barrel, but I figured I'd figure that out soon enough. So I just went ahead and started sanding it using a couple different grits. I had to be really careful because of the veneer. I couldn't go very deep, but the veneer was stuck on really well, so I left it intact and just worked around it that way. So for the paint, first of all, I did the cover stain so the grain and the knots wouldn't come through. And it was also going to be outside, so I wanted to make sure it had a really good primer on it. And then I used a blue to kind of make it look like a star, like the sky. I had my template from before, so I just did the same thing I did with the other one. I just kept going around it and going back into places, trying to make some light and some darker, kind of make it a little bit offset. And then once I had that first side done, I just did the same thing on the other side. I did some fine tuning with a little tiny brush, and I was happy with it. Let's move on to the inside. Now, it did not have a top on it, so it was a little bit wonky until I could make one. So I just made one out of some chipboard. Once I had that inside and glued, I went ahead and sealed it. I used a spar urethane, and I used several coats because it was going to be outside. Kind of set it up, and I thought, all right, that might work. Now for the top. I wanted to use the base that was already underneath the top, so I just basically built it up and built that on top, screwed that on top of the barrel, made sure things were pretty much level, and then used the existing attachment that was on there. I lined it up to north, so my stars were right, and there we are. So it's large enough to seat 4 and still lots of leg room, so we're looking forward to enjoying some quiet evenings out on our Missouri farm. Thanks for watching.